Boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks.
To all the queens who sacrifice their dream, to all the queens who put their lives aside, this is now your time to shine. This is now your time to shine.
Boss chicks, boss chicks.
Rise up, take your place. Rise up, take your place. Rise up, don't look down. Just rise up. Rise up.
Welcome back to another episode of Boss Chicks. I'm your host, Sena, here with my other hosts, Latoya and Andrea.
Hi.
We're back with episode number 6. This time I got it only because I asked Latoya beforehand, but that's okay. This is neither here nor there. Tonight we are coming to you talking about Parenting 101. What somebody should have told you about parenting. As always, we want to thank each and every one of our subscribers for subscribing, liking, sharing. We want to thank everyone who has been viewing and chiming in, sending us messages, texts, all of that stuff. We certainly appreciate the love. So thank you guys again for all your support and encouragement along this journey. So we're going to get all the way in and just go ahead and get started talking about Parenting 101. And I will kick it off tonight on what I wish somebody would have told me. So let's see. We are 17 years deep into parenting. I have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And I can definitely say that parenting has definitely changed throughout generations. You know, parenting with my son in the beginning was one way, with my daughter totally different, and with my last daughter totally different. Each child is like totally different, and I think because of the age difference, it's like learning all over again. So where I thought I knew and overcame things with my son, then you had to do it again with your daughter, and then you had to do it again with Mariah. I'm on a whole nother level of parenting now. And some of the things that, you know, in the beginning that you hear when you say that you're pregnant is the first thing is make sure you eat right, and, you know, make sure you don't spoil the kids and all that stuff. But it goes beyond the infant stage. I was sharing with one of my daycare parents the other day about, she was like, do it get better? And I was like, do it get better? I was like, I mean, it gets there. They one way this way, and then they say there's the terrible twos. They're not terrible. They're just bossy 2-year-olds, and then you go from bossy 2-year-olds to demanding 5-year-olds, and then bossy demanding 7-year-olds, and Lord, when you get to the teens, I think that's where most people become alcoholics. But one of the things I wish I would have known when we were, you know, with Malachi, it wasn't a planned pregnancy. I don't think any of my kids was planned, actually. You know, just woke up and one day was like, oh gosh, I'm pregnant. But I wish I knew like the financial aspect of it. Like, oh my gosh, they're always wanting something, especially around this time of the year. Holidays coming up, and God bless my womb to have like winter babies, holiday babies. So they think money grows on a tree, like literally, like you just put $1 in the ground and it just reproduce $1 million. There is no boundaries with them. They just see and they like, we want. I remember one time my son said to me, mom means made of money.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He was like, "Hey mom, can I get something?" And I was like, what do you think I am?" He was like, "Your mom." I was like, what does that mean?" He was like, "Made of money." I was like, okay. Um, so I've learned that over the years, parents make things happen regardless if they have it or not. Your kids come and they want something, we're always like, okay, let me see what I can shift around. Let me see what I can do to make it happen. Um, I wish I would have known that I would never get sleep again, because you're constantly up praying, worrying, wanting to make sure, they have everything that they need in life. Um, and that brings me to another thing. You're constantly praying, like, praying over them, praying over what's going on in the world. And when I look at today's society, it's like, man, you got to pray even harder because your kids are up against so many different things. Right now we have COVID, we have racism, we have bullying, we have so many things things that we didn't go through. Like, I don't remember going through some of these things like as a teenager that I'm seeing that today's kids are going through right now. um, like, my daughter said to me a couple of days ago that one of the kids in her class died, and we found out that the kid committed suicide. And I was like, man, kids have it rough nowadays. They're, especially during coronavirus, that they're isolated, they're away from their friends, the norm of things. And like adults, we find ways to cope with our, what we're doing, but kids don't really have that outlet. So I wish I would have kind of like knew a little bit more about like the struggles that kids would face in today's society. Like, I was prepared, to answer certain questions and stuff like that. Like, I had that experience growing up. I didn't have that experience as far as hearing about kids committing suicide and different obstacles. You've seen bullying in school, but bullying is on a whole nother level now because they have social media and all of that other stuff. So it's like you're learning and trying to teach as you learn. So I kind of wish, like, as a kid or even as an adult before kids, like, this stuff was around so that people can teach us, like, or tell us, hey, these are some of the things that your kids might go through, yada yada yada. um Even with, like, I saw, what actor was it? He was on TV, and he was talking about his daughter was on Instagram, and his daughter is like, I think he said she's like 15 or 16, and some old man was up in her inbox talking about how he just lost his girlfriend. And he was pretty much saying how the internet, talks about bullying and all of that stuff, but they're not protecting the kids when it comes to, like, pedophiles and stuff like that. And he has like a whole campaign that him and his wife are doing to kind of like stop that. So that stuff wasn't going on, at least when I was younger. I was blinded by it. I don't know, but we didn't have internet like that. We didn't have social media. Social media came on the scene when I was in college, and it was I want to say College Club or something. uh,
Oh, wow.
that's when like the internet came on the scene as far as like social media. So I kind of wish we could have foresee into the future to know what we're dealing with. Lucky for you, Andrea, you're on this thing, and with your first child you'll have like the knowledge of all this stuff and what to prepare and look out for. But those were like my main things, and that you'll become more emotional and sensitive having kids. I cry more now than I ever cried in my whole entire life. I was sharing with another friend of mine how my son is getting ready to graduate from high school, and he's turning 18 in a couple of months. And I have been an emotional wreck behind it. Like, I'll see like little pictures of him when he was smaller, and I just bust out and cry. Like, my baby's growing up, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready, and he's ready to be a man. And I'm like, slow down. Although he still be like, Mom, can you make me breakfast? Or he'll come upstairs. He like, so Mom, what's for dinner? Or Mom, can you fix my plate? And I'd be looking like, boy, you about to be in college and on your own. Why can't you fix your own plate? But in my mind, I'm like, let me enjoy the fact that I can fix this plate right now. So, um, very emotional. I didn't know. I know, like, our parents, they're always there for us, and they're always, encouraging and telling us stuff, and trying to fix things in our lives. But as a kid, and even as an adult with no kids, we're always like, we got this. But as a parent now, I'd be like, now I understand why, our parents are nosy and they're always asking and want to be there and want to fix things, because I'm the same way. So I kind of wish like they would have told me and not just like actually did that stuff. Like kind of like say, hey, as a parent, you're going to come in and want to fix things. So yeah, those are like my biggest things, is that, the emotional side of it, the sleep side of it, and the different attitudes or personalities. I mean, each one of my kids, how they say, you want to know how you were, wait till you have kids. They don't go into details about that. They're not very detail oriented, where it means like where they're saying like, okay, how you were bossy, now your kids are probably going to be bossy, or you had an attitude, your kid's going to have an attitude, or I call my son the president, because he always comes back with something. Like you say one thing and he'll just be like, but that's not politically correct, or he's the corrector. And Mariah is the negotiator. She is the one who is going to negotiate her way out of anything. And Maya is the one like, whatever. Like, okay, whatever. So I wish I kind of knew about that stuff. Like, you have to become all of that into multiple kids. So if that's all of you, and then you got to also remember that your kid is a reflection of you, 50% you and 50% your spouse or the person you had a child with. So you got both of those personalities and one little human. Woo. This is why some people go into alcoholism. Although I have good kids, they're not perfect, but they are good. They keep us entertained, keep us on our feet. But I wish I knew the amount of work it took to be a parent. And I don't think anything can take you, really prepare you for that journey. It's like constant on the job training, because they change, they evolve all the time. Like right now, as an infant, they're one way and they're demanding because they can't do for themselves. But then the older they get, they become more demanding because they're so used to us catering to them. And not only that, their needs change. And we as moms always have that, I want to fix it, for our kids. So I wish I would have known that I would have that personality to, I want to fix things and make everything right for them. So yeah, that's pretty much my I wish I would have known. How about you, Drea?
Man, well, I can only speak up to about 8 months, because she's only 8 months right now. But man, like when you sent me the topic, I'm like, gosh, what do I wish I knew? One thing for sure, I wish I could have looked into the future, because when Addison was born, 2 days later, the entire world shut down. Nothing open. Well, things were open, but everything was just like weird. It was such a weird time frame. Everybody was in quarantine, and usually when somebody has a baby, you have family around you. You have, your mom gets to come and stay with you. People are cooking for you, bringing you food. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have the help that we were expecting to kind of get. Even though me and Jamal, we made it. We made it work. We made it happen. But looking back, when we were just talking about it yesterday, we were like, we kind of not to stroke our ego or anything like that, but it's like, we made it by ourselves, kind of, like, we made it happen. And but it's not to say it didn't come with difficulty. We were tired. There was no Addison was a good baby from the very beginning. She slept, I had to wake her up for her feedings. There wasn't anything. I think the only thing that really like got to us was when we would change her diaper and she was pooping constantly as we were changing. We were like, oh my God, is this normal? Is she okay? Like, why does this keep happening?
Nobody ever warns you.
No one warns you.
No, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she's crying, and me and Jamal are both trying to like change the diaper, like, and it was just us two. Like, we had to it would start with me, then he would wake up and be like, do you need help? And then like I would try to take care of it, and then finally, like 5-6 diapers later, I'm like, you got to do it because I can't.
Yeah.
But there was just nobody for us to kind of like give us the break. It was one or the other, and so that made it hard. Quarantine. They say my baby shut the world down. So, right. But yeah, I mean that was like, as far as like us, that was like the biggest thing for us. What else? I mean, the like I said, she's such a good baby. Like you said,
she's such a pretty baby.
Thank you. She's a reflection of both of us for sure. Like, she's so chill. We had her out yesterday, and everybody was like, is this how she always is? Like, she's just sitting there chilling. And I'm just like, yeah, because me and Jamal, we're not loud people. We're very laid back, and so she's really taken after that. But you can tell a difference from when she's out versus when she's home. When she's home, she's Addison to like 100%. Like, there's out Addison and then there's home Addison.
That's so funny. You know how back in the days, our parents used to be like, when you get outside, you bet not, embarrass this, that, and the third. I always tell people, I always hear people say, oh, your kids are so good when they're outside. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That's when they need to be behaving, like when they're out and about, showing that they have some, common sense and stuff like that. But then I'll be thinking, a part of me be like, why can't you do that at home though? I remember specifically, we were on vacation one year, and I think it was Maya. We were at my my husband's grandparents' house, and she just started sweeping. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you don't even pick up the room now. Like, what's up with that? So that was definitely interesting. And it's funny that you say about the poop. Oh my gosh. They do not.
Did that happen with you guys too?
Yes.
I messaged her doctor. I'm like, is she okay? Is this normal? Do we need to come in? Because it happens all the time.
Or the poop up the back.
Oh my gosh.
I think I got rid of, so I'm not gonna say which one of my kids, because I don't want them to come back later on and be like, Mom, really? But let's just say I threw away a lot of t-shirts, onesies, because I wasn't washing that. Like, no. And then I had one
hand wash it to take out the stain, then I'll put it away.
I just trash it. I had one child who had reflux as a baby.
Ooh,
so I did not know what reflux was. And when I saw projected vomit, all I kept thinking was the poltergeist.
Like, you're praying.
I called her doctor. I was like, something is not right. She's projecting vomit like across the room. And I was like, and she does it all the time. Every time she eats it, they were like, it's called reflux. Just don't put her in her, to lay on her back. Make sure she's burping every time. Don't feed her, don't nurse her so often, just like in increments. And I was like, yeah, you telling me that, but tell her and my breast that, because she don't eat like that. When the milk comes, it comes.
Yeah.
So it was like, I can't just stop her. She literally beats me up if I stop her. So yeah, nobody warned me about that. And someone posted a picture on Facebook, and it was talking about like breastfeeding is not breastfeeding until a kid like latches off, like they're like latching off and they got your nipple in their mouth and they're just sitting back, and then they pull off, and then I was like, the pain.
Elastic.
Oh gosh, the things a woman's body can go through, we're like rubber bands.
Yes.
So we just
oh my
right
god.
So yeah,
that's the other thing too. Like, breastfeeding was very hard for me. I produced a lot of milk. Like I had our freezer was completely full. I donated so many times, but that was the other thing. Like I wish I feel like it's one of those things where you're not going to know until the baby gets here. So nobody could really tell you, but I wish I knew, or maybe it was just me like setting that expectation for myself. Like, oh, breastfeeding is going to come real easy for me. And my sisters did it. I'm going to be able to do it. Now it's a breeze. Now, me and baby, we can like breastfeed at any angle. She's, doing gymnastics while she's eating. But yeah, it was very painful. And I didn't know how painful that would be. I didn't know how painful the engorgement would be.
Oh,
that
God.
was just, oh my gosh. And like when I would pump and nothing's coming out, I'm sitting there crying, like it hurts so bad. Clogged ducts, those are so painful. Like,
I had that. I felt like I had the flu. It was horrible.
Yeah.
No one told me about that either. Like,
no,
I was like, no one tells you about these things. Even when I had my son, I got preeclampsia, and no one told me what that was. I didn't know anything about that and the effects it have on your body. I had 3 C-sections, and no one told me, after a C-section, the mental, anguish you feel. Like, in the beginning, I was kind of like devastated. Like, what's wrong with my body that I couldn't push a child out? And after a while, it was just like, but your child came and, they were healthy, but literally it did play effect on my mind for a while. It was like, I really questioned that a lot. So no one prepared me for that. No one prepared me for the pain after a C-section or trying to go to the bathroom after a C-section. No one told me how hurtful that would be. Oh my gosh.
It's like,
so those were a lot of things that no one told me about. Like, they tell you, oh, don't have sex after you have the baby. That's the stuff they tell you, but they don't tell you about like why the pain and
yeah.
They don't tell you that when you turn from one side, your insides come on the next like 5 minutes after.
That shift.
Like you go what, and then next thing you know, everything else coming. I was like, wait, is that normal? I was always calling the doctor. Like, I thought with my son, with my girls, I was a little bit more better because I had, him first. So I learned, I had a little bit of experience. But with my son, even when he would cry, I would think he didn't like me. I would be like, oh, he doesn't like me because he's crying. Aww. And I partly blame that on somebody named Latoya, but I'm not going to say all of that. I'm just going to say I kind of partly blame that because, when you first have a child, the first person that holds your child is the person they instantly connect with. I had a child and I was not the first person to hold my child. The doctor was giving them to me, and Toya was just like, oh.
No, the nurse gave him to me because she had to do something and they had to get her prepped and ready. So they came in and automatically gave me this baby. Yeah, I'm like in my early 20s. I don't know what to do with the baby. I was nervous, but that was our moment.
Yeah, she had a lot of moments. She kidnapped my kids, like turned her ringers off.
Oh my gosh.
But so what's your experience? What would you have liked to known?
Oh, wow. Well, I have 4 amazing kids. My oldest is 14, then 12. And then I have twins that are 9 now. Wow. Because I remember the day that I found out I was having twins, and the shock that came upon my body was, whew, yeah, I didn't know how I was going to do that. Yeah, but yeah. Mom came and she helped me through each pregnancy. My husband was there. I had amazing people to help me through that, the pregnancy and getting through those first couple of months. I remember Miss Monique, who was on here not too long ago, owner of Blendies. She told me, because she had twins before I did, and she said, make sure you keep them on the same schedule. That is so important. And so anyone having twins, make sure you keep them on the same schedule or you will get no sleep whatsoever. And I stuck to that. I really did. I made sure I kept that in the back of my head. I made sure that they were on the same feeding schedule, same sleep schedule, so that I can sleep too. No one really tells you about pregnancy at all. They don't tell you the bad things about pregnancy. And
Oh, yeah.
I went through it with my for the first 3 months. I was completely sick. My second child, I was completely sick, plus taking care of a baby. And then my twins, I had the best pregnancy ever. I felt like the twins balanced me out. It was wonderful. It was the best pregnancy. I can't tell them that though, but you know. It was. And I just feel like parenting in itself is different for everyone. That's why there's no handbook for it, because everybody goes through it differently. You know, the world that our parents raised us is not the same world at all.
No, totally
Doesn't exist anymore.
It's completely different now. And so you have to kind of just go off of your own instincts. You have to. And that's what I believe that my husband and I did. We just kind of went off our own instincts. We went off of what we learned from our parents as well, you know, the good and the bad. My parents were great in so many aspects, but there were things that I felt that maybe I needed. So I made sure that I'm giving that to my children. You know, you should learn from your parents. You should learn from other people and take that with you. But yeah, my kids two of them are just like me. They're very quiet and reserved. The other two are very outspoken like their dad. And, you know, they love to be the life of the party like their dad. But yeah, my two are just like me. You have to approach them. You have to dig. You have to, you know, ask so many questions for them to start talking to you. Which is how I am as well. I don't talk to everyone. I need to fill you out first, and they're just like that. And it shows all over their face. They're no, I don't really know.
Like, who are you?
So, but it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey, 14-year journey with them. The different personalities, like you said, Sena, they're all different. Yeah, absolutely different. No two are the same. And I feel like that same with the pregnancies and with parenting. There's no two stories that are the same. Yeah. But it's been a pure joy. Like this weekend we just had for Halloween, I just trying to make sure that I get that time in with them. Yeah. Because my daughter's 14. Pretty soon she's gonna want to go to Halloween parties and do her own thing with her cousin Maya. I'm not gonna be able to separate those two. So yeah. I'm just trying to enjoy every moment that I have.
It definitely is very good to enjoy the moments because they grow so fast. Like, can you imagine already, like, the world was shut down and here's Addie already, what, 8 months? Or 6
almost 8 months, yeah.
Almost 8 months. Like, she's already crawling and trying to stand.
Her.
I know.
Trying to stand up. And it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, they grow so fast. I was like I said, looking at pictures of my son, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't want him to grow up no more. And I think because he's my first, that's why I be so emotional when it comes to him. Like on his birthday every year, I cry. His first day of school, I cry. And he's a senior. I cried. And he's always been so independent as far as he wants to do it himself. He wants to do this himself. So he's always been like, he's like me in an aspect where he's gonna go for it. Like if he sees something, he wants it. He's a go-getter. Wants to pursue it. He's gonna go get it. Even when it came to like driving, he was at 14 still planning, like at 15 and a half, I'm gonna have my permit. I'm gonna be ready to book. Mom, like every day Mom, did you order the class? Mom, did you order the class? Like he was ready. And I was just like, slow down. I'm not ready. He had his cars prepared. He had already talked to his grandparents. Like, I want a car. Like he had already had everything prepared. Meanwhile, me on the back end, I'm just sitting here like, can you just slow down? Can time just freeze for a minute? So I have definitely enjoyed COVID in the aspect that I got to have him at home more often.
Yes.
I got to have him at home more often because, one of the things I do appreciate is that he's not like most teenagers. Like me as a teenager, I never wanted to be in a house. I was always like, I gotta go, don't want to be home. Mom, I'm going over my godmother's house, or Mom, I'm going this place. Whereas him, and I wasn't even driving, I didn't have a car, I wasn't driving, but him, like on a weekends, he's home like maybe once or twice a month. He'd be like, Ma, is it okay? Can I go to this person's house? But he's never been that kid that's just like, I want to go. Meanwhile, my 14-year-old Maya, she's the one who I believe that when she becomes like his age, I'm never going to see her. Like, I feel like her and Natalie are going to be gone all the time. They're 6 months apart.
All the time.
They're the lights of the party. I say they are the teenage version of Toya and I. Whereas, and their grandpa, like they are their grandfather's granddaughters. So I feel like they're gonna be on the go, and it doesn't really help that they have an aunt that's only what I would say 10 years older than them. Is 10 years older than them?
A little bit
And they
more.
love to be around her. Like, so I do love that in the aspect that they have someone that, and they're very open as far as coming to us and talking. I love that about our kids, is that, most kids, they shy away and they won't talk to their parents about real life issues or anything like that. Whereas with my kids, they will come and talk to us about any and everything. Mom, this
That
person
was
said
one of
this.
my biggest concerns, because I knew growing up, I was very closed off. I didn't talk very much to my parents. I didn't tell them things that I might have been going through or anything. It wasn't like they weren't open for me there. I just was a very quiet person. That's just who I've been. And I didn't want that for my kids, not at all. And so I made sure that I'm always in their face. I have to be. I'm always in their face. I have a no closed door policy in our household unless you are getting dressed. As soon as you're finished, that door needs to be opened back up. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on in the room. I need to make sure that everybody's good. And I want them to know, and I've been telling them from they were young, that they can come to me and tell me absolutely anything, because kids do keep a lot in. And a lot of times parents are shocked after, because they didn't know, because the doors were closed or the kids didn't feel comfortable enough. So that was one of my biggest things, was making sure that my kids know that they can come and talk to me about anything, which I haven't told you, Sena, but my 9-year-old came and told me that she had a crush the other day. And, a part of me was like, oh my God.
She don't even talk. Wait.
I know, I just see her and she smiles and I'm like, oh,
she does that. She has that, quiet but low key slick tongue. Like she will, she low key be throwing shade at you.
Yes. But I was just so happy that she felt, that she felt okay to come and talk to me about it.
Yeah.
She had a question about having a crush that was her brother's friend. And so, I felt really good that she was open enough to come and talk to me, because I wouldn't have said anything back at her age.
Yeah, not at that age. I would have been.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
That's funny. That just kind of just threw me for a loop. Like, wait, what?
Right?
One of the things that a parent had told me, one of my daycare parents, and mind you, I'm doing daycare with kids that are all different ages. So it's also interesting, because you're catering to so many. But one of the things that advice that a parent told me was that as a kid, or even at infant ages, watch your child's behavior. Like they have a great sense of discernment even as infants. So, and respect like their boundaries as far as like what they don't want. So when we were talking about this conversation and having this conversation, it was an infant, and at that time the infant didn't want another person to pick them up, and the mom was like, she doesn't have to have you pick her up, and respect her, her boundaries. She don't want to play with you right now. Any other time the infant loved playing with this person, but this time they didn't want to. And I was like, it opened my eyes, like, you know what, that's a good point. And as far as parenting, that we don't really pay attention to things like that. We just be like, oh, maybe they're in the mood as an infant. But no, if like we teach them as they get older, you have boundaries. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go to this person's house, or if you don't want to play with someone, you don't have to play with them. But as an infant, like, it's the same thing. Like, they get their moods too. They get in their moments where they want mommy and daddy to play with them, and then there are moments where they like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to be bothered.
I like
wanna,
that advice, like that
I want to
infants
just
have that
do me.
discernment, and you have to set that boundary for them. Like, you have to do it for them, because they
Yes,
can't do it for
they
themselves.
can't do it for
Otherwise,
themselves.
people are going to just be like, oh, they're just fussy. Like, no, they're not fussy.
No.
Like, they don't want you.
They don't want you. And I didn't think about that until she said that. And I was like, you know what? That is true. We kind of like just nonchalantly brush things off. And when we do that, we set the pace for them growing up. That,
Yeah.
you know what? That's where that closeness come, where they don't feel comfortable coming to you, because pretty much they feel like they're going to be ignored. Like, you didn't respect me. We can say, they don't remember that long, but they do. Like, certain things do, they do. Like, my husband can quote things that happened to him in preschool, and I just be like, how do you even remember that? Like, those are things, some kids do have that memory still in the back of their mind of, I remember that time that, I didn't want to do this, and my mom did this, or my dad did this, so now I'm not going to come to them, and at the same time, we're not trying to be our kids' friends. That's one. I do not encourage being your child's friend. I do encourage being their parent and having that open relationship where they can come and talk to you. But as far as, oh, we homegirls, we hanging out, nope, that's not. Because then if you cross that line of boundaries, it's going to be hard to come back from it. And then you're going to wonder why they're doing the things that they're doing, because you allowed it. So I don't really encourage that. Now, if you do, that's on you. How you parent your child is your business. How you run your household is how you run your household. How I run mine is how I run mine. I don't criticize anybody the way they run their homes. I also tell people, one of the things that I always say is that there's no such thing as a bad kid. Like, there's bad behaviors, but no kids are bad. I don't feel like any kids are bad. Their behaviors are bad. Their behaviors might be a little bit much, but they're not bad. When we start labeling kids, and that's another thing that, people never really taught, is that you shouldn't call your kids certain names, because they begin to develop those personalities and traits. When you say, oh, you're just being bad, or you being fast, or you being this and you're being that,
they're going to grow up thinking that that's what they are.
And they're going to adapt to that behavior. Yeah. So you have to be very conscious of the stuff that you call your kids, and aware of what you're saying to them. If we not, then they begin to develop those behaviors, and then we wonder why they're acting out or why they're doing this, because they just develop the behavior based off of the tone that you set, or what you say, what you quoted them. So,
or what you allow others to say to them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's important.
That is important. That you as a parent, you become so more aware and so more, like I said before, sensitive to just certain things, and protective. Like, that mama bear really comes out. That lioness be like, real.
Yeah. I know. I think that's what's become of me. Like, and it's not that I don't trust. I don't want to say it in a bad way. Like, it's not that I don't trust people. It's like I'm always watching, like, who's holding her, where she's at. Like, she could be in the same room as me, and I'm like, I'm cat eyeing people. Like,
yeah.
Where's my baby? What are you doing to my baby? What are you saying to my baby?
Yep.
Andrea, did you go through that phase when Addison was born, or are you currently going through it right now, where you would go put your finger next to her nose when she sleeps?
No, I'll just put my hand on her back and wait for her to breathe.
Yep.
Or I'll nudge her.
What's that about? Like, Why do parents do that?
I think the whole SIDS thing has been really instilled in our brains that it just really, it's like, that's like a parent's worst fear. Like Jamal's the same way. He'll like go and get the phone light and like
That on doctors, like they
yeah.
they push that don't sleep on your stomach thing so much that you be afraid of
Yeah.
anything. I literally used to poke my kids just to, even though I would, if I couldn't feel it, I would just poke them. Like, let me see if they move or react. And if they react, then I get mad if they wake up and I'd be like,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, from a medical standpoint, I do understand, you know, because I'm a nurse. And so I went through that whole education behind that. Cause it's a real thing, you know, SIDS is a real thing,
it's very real.
but you know, I like now Addison is a stomach sleeper and I can't stop her from sleeping on her stomach. I'll put her on her back and she'll roll right over. And, you know, I just make sure that her head is, you know, turned. And, you know, the doctors say that now that they're at that age where they can move their neck and they can, you know, sense when something's wrong. If the blanket's in their face, it'll move. But yeah, it does kind of, you know, when you're a first time parent, or, you know, a new parent all over again, those things do scare you. And
yeah.
Oh
gosh, that is another thing. Fair.
The twins, having them in the same crib.
Mm.
You know, I didn't get much sleep because I was in there literally every moment, every minute, just checking to make sure they weren't rolling on each other or, you know, rolling on the other one's head or anything like that, because it, you know, you tend to panic and you want to make sure that they're going to be okay. So,
yeah.
And I feel like kids are growing faster than they were ever. Like, I'm seeing babies like at a month holding their head up, like, and I'm like, they're more alert now. Like, what's in your milk?
I think it's like the way that maybe medical providers are starting to learn, like, you know, tummy time early. Because like, as soon as we came home, we started Addison on tummy time, and she was head and neck like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like all of those things that they would probably delay for later age. They want you to start implementing early because it builds their back muscles. It builds, you know, their, you know, like these toys, like these little things that I didn't know these are for developmental stuff. So we got her like a bunch of developmental toys. I told everybody, you know, I don't want no toys. I don't want my house full of toys. But here we are buying her toys. We took her to the mall the other day and we let her pick her own clothes. Oh. We just give her choices and like she'll pick the one that she likes and then we'll buy that one. Aww. Even when she's dressing, like I want her to like have that freedom to like express herself and feel comfortable, you know. And I know it might sound silly, you know, she's only a baby, she doesn't know what she's doing, but I think she does. Yeah. I know she does. And like I want her to have the confidence to like choose what she wants because that's what she wants.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important. You know, I really want that confidence for her, especially as a female.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Especially because you're teaching her now how to make decisions. That is a very good thing because a lot of kids, if you look at us as adults, and you look at like our generation, some of us didn't have like those choices to make decisions for certain things in life. Like, you know,
so we're so indecisive.
Back
I
in
can't
the day,
pick what I want to eat. It's like
right. So if you're teaching her now at 8 months, make decisions, she's gonna always be like, well, you know, I want to do this, or she's learning that. So what you do, I'm an advocate that teach your kids now. Like one of the elders in our church years ago, she said that she was like, you don't prepare your kids for life with you all the time. You prepare them for life outside of you. So preparation and teaching starts from the day they come out the womb. I mean, actually, technically it starts in the womb. What you're introducing them to in the womb too, it plays effect. You know, you might have a certain sound that you're playing all the time. Well, they'll grow up learning and appreciating that sound when they come out. With Malachi, we were always around music and I was always near like music stuff. So naturally when he came out, he has a strong passion for music and he loves to play drums. He's always around music. And it was the same thing with Maya. I mean, when I was pregnant with her, I was like jumping off of Marlon's back and stuff like that. I would be jumping in the bed and people would like, Sena, stop doing that. You're pregnant. Sena, don't do that. You're pregnant. I was dancing on a dance ministry, and
Wow.
it so happens that my child is now on dance ministry. She's in gymnastics and all of this stuff because those are things that were in the womb where I was doing it. I wasn't into gymnastics. My husband didn't do gymnastics. So his gift just came from just like birth. So it's very important. Even the music, like we were always singing and on different choirs and different things. So it's naturally that she loves music. So I really do believe that teaching starts in the womb. What you do with them while you're in the womb is going to shape how they are developing, like when they get out of the womb. So
Yeah.
what advice would you guys give to parents, like today's parents or someone who's pregnant or expecting? Like, what type of advice would you guys give to them? I'll start with you, Drea.
Two things. Your story is going to be different from somebody else's. Like, I was just talking to a friend the other day. She's pregnant for the first time. She's having a boy. And I was kind of sharing my experience with her. I was telling her how I was so gung-ho about not using any medications during my labor. I wasn't going to get an epidural. I wanted to push my baby out completely natural, no drugs. I got both. The end of the day, she came out healthy. I was healthy. And that's just the way my story went, or my labor. I was in pain, so maybe another woman could have handled that, but I did what was best for me and my baby, and she came out fine. Like every I think while I was pregnant, I got a lot of stories, a lot of unsolicited advice, even now. And that can be overwhelming to a new parent, a new mom, somebody who's just trying to figure it out, somebody who's just trying to make it, to try to get to, from point A to point B. Like, it's hard when you're hearing, you should do this, you should do that. Because then like, what if you were planning on doing it a different way? And it kind of makes you feel like your way isn't good enough. But mama, your way is good enough. You're gonna do what's best for you and your baby. Nobody knows your baby the way that you know them, and that's perfectly fine. You can take the advice and you can shut it down if you want to, because sometimes it can be too much. Like you said, Toya, we live in a different time frame. Our parents' day and age it's no longer existent. We're millennials raising the next generation. Well, I am. I don't know if you guys are.
I'm on the border. I'm like on the border.
Yeah.
You and Toya are still millennials. I'm on the border.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I don't know.
I'm 40 now.
I don't know where the cutoff is, but like I like the point. I like the fact that you said, we're in a different time frame. So you can't use old stuff to raise new stuff. You can sometimes, there's some things where you just can't change the basics, and that's perfectly fine. But we're in a different day now, and times are different. Moms can do natural things. Moms can do medicine, and that's okay. And I think there's so much of that criticism to go one way versus another, and there's a lot of head bumping. I'm in a lot of mom groups, and I feel like, God, it's just too much, like
mom shaming.
Yeah, and that's not right. And I think it hurts a woman, when they're mom shamed. And I think if anything, be there to support them. If you're going to give advice, give it because they ask it, or because you feel like they are looking for advice, not because, oh, well, this is what I did with my child, blah, 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 blah. That's cool. But, what if they didn't ask for that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do what works for your house. Yes. I agree. That's exactly good. What about you, Toya?
I think Drea really summed it up so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. No two stories are the same. You know, I love my sister, I love her children, but I can't raise my kids the way that she's raising hers because my kids are different. So you have to do what's best for you and for your kids and for your household. I will say that, you know, like I said, the way our parents raised us, we can't raise our kids, not in this world. However, the respect that they demanded, we definitely need to do that. I am 39 years old and my mother has never heard me cuss, never. And nowadays, you know, kids are 13 cussing in front of their parents. That's not going to happen with me and mine, I'll tell you that much. But you just have to do what works for you. You have to do what works for you and for your household. There's no handbook to this. There isn't. And as much as we might say, you know, no one told me, and I wish somebody would have told me, like you say, sometimes you just have to go through it on your own. You have to experience it. You absolutely have to experience it for yourself to know what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Right.
That's good. That's really good. I would add to that, moms, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, do not beat yourself up and think you failed as a parent. Like we said, there is no handbook on parenting, none whatsoever. Your kid won't even know if you're a bad parent or if you're a good parent because all they know is you're the best parent. There's nobody to compare you to. You do the best that you can with the stuff that you're given. So don't be so hard on yourself. I think we are our worst critics. We're always saying what we could have did better, or man, I messed up, or you know, it's okay. It's like we said, there is no handbook on parenting. You just go with what you know, go with what feels right, go with what, if you're a religious person or spiritual person, go with what the Lord is leading you to do. If you're not and you feel some type of way, go with what you're feeling is best for your household. Don't beat yourself up and don't compare your household to everybody else's household. You only see what they allow you to see. You don't see the bigger picture. You don't see what they're doing in the midnight hour. You don't see what they're doing in the daytime. So don't compare your house to someone else's house. Run your house the way that you can run your house, and don't beat yourself up. Like Andrea said, there is a lot of mom shaming that goes on. And I think that was one of the biggest things when I was pregnant with all of my kids. And when I had my C-sections, was the shame that people would be like, oh, you wasn't woman enough because you didn't push your kid out. My kid is out and they're healthy and I'm healthy and alive to raise them. So however they got out, it's okay. Don't push your beliefs on someone else's, you know? So we should be encouraging moms. We should be supporting moms. We should be pushing, because in the end of the day, moms battle so much, you know, and this is not to take away from dads. Dads battle too, but I can't relate to what my husband battles when it comes to parenting because I'm not him. I can relate to another mom because I'm a woman and I know the different woman issues that we do. We worry so much about our kids 24/7. It could be nothing wrong, but we're still worrying about them, you know. We're and that is a trait that goes back generation to generation to generation that will never probably change as far as a mom. Like, you will never, I don't care if your kid is 50 years old, as a mom, you will constantly worry, like, are they doing okay? What are they not telling us? And they'll probably be fine. So it's okay to not always have it together as a mom. It's okay. There is no condemnation for you as a parent. You know, do what you can when you can and rest knowing that you did your best. If you did your best, then that's all that is. Put the rest to rest. Like, do your best, and that's all it is. So if I can encourage any mom out there, do your best. Just do your best. And don't beat yourself up about it. There is no such thing as a perfect mom. Nobody was perfect.
If you see a mom, you know, struggling or stressing, take her out for a moment. Let her get that woosah moment.
Yes.
You know, She might not need that unsolicited advice. She might just need a couple of hours out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Be an ear to listen. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to give your opinion all the time or advice. Sometimes moms just want somebody to listen, you know, or a shoulder to cry on, or have a glass of wine with. Like, so yeah, this is definitely some good information. And I'm quite sure a lot of moms can relate to everything that, you know, we've shared. And those who are pregnant, allow yourself some time to de-stress and rest. If you're pregnant, don't try to do everything. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was earth. God said it took him 7 days. So don't try to put a nursery together in one whole day. Enjoy the moments because they go fast. Kids grow up fast. They're moving faster. The game is changing daily. So enjoy and embrace the time that you have with your children. Love them more, appreciate them more, respect them more, and respect yourself more as a parent. So that's
and
my
learn
advice.
from your children. Learn from your children. They have so much to
It's a good
teach you.
one.
Oh,
Yes.
They
My kids
definitely
teach me
can.
something every day. Yeah, that's a good one. And it's okay to have fun with them. Have fun with your kids. Like, don't always be do this, do that. If they want to make a TikTok video, make a TikTok video with them. They want to eat cereal for dinner, that's okay. Like, there's no rules.
Right.
But yeah, enjoy parenting. I love it. I would not. I feel like parenting is the best gift and job that God has given me. The reward is like unimaginable. Just seeing the joy that your kids experience, seeing the growth in them. That's like the best feeling. Like, hands down, better than a lot of things. When I look at my kids and I just be like, man, you guys don't realize how blessed you guys are.
Yeah, my husband and I look at our kids all the time and we're like, we created these little humans. It's pretty amazing. They're pretty amazing.
They're pretty amazing. These some pretty dope kids.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see how Addison grows because she has some pretty incredible parents too.
She does.
She
does. And she's such a little. Her smile is just like,
I melt. Like, I'm always looking through my phone, like, oh my God, she's so cute.
When I see her smile, she has such a peaceful spirit. Like, you can feel it radiating. Yes. Not just I've only met her once and seen her once, but even when you post like your pictures and stuff, it's something about her smile and her eyes that lets you know that everything is going to be okay. Like,
now I'm gonna cry.
It literally makes me feel like that. Like, oh, when I look at her, like, oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Addison.
Yeah, so I couldn't have asked for a better baby. Like, everybody was like, be ready to not sleep, be ready for, fussy bad baby. No, not right now. She's not. She hasn't been. And I feel blessed because God knew exactly what we needed. And he gave us a good mixture of both of us.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh. On that note, Lashondra is doing the parenting thing right now. She is, that's why she's not here with us tonight, because she's balancing that life. You can't just be an entrepreneur. You got to be a mom too. And she is doing the mom thing right now. So shout out to you, Lashondra, who is holding down the fort and doing homework with your children right now. We want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Latoya, go ahead and tell us where we can find you on social media.
On Facebook, you can find me at Divine Total Body Fitness. And on Instagram, it's train_with_Toya.
All right. How about you, Drea?
You can find me on Instagram, myeverythingbeautiful.ag. Flowers, unique gifts, whatever, custom orders, all that good stuff.
You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Sena _Williams _realtor, or children _of _the _king daycare on both Instagram and Facebook. All the information for each one of these ladies are listed below, right below our pictures. So go ahead and like our pages, follow, share, subscribe, tell somebody about us. And then you can also tune in to Boss Chicks Live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or on Facebook Live. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to Boss Chicks SD. And we are Boss Chicks out. Thank you.
Night.
Boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks, boss chicks.
To all the queens who sacrifice their dream, to all the queens who put their lives aside, this is now your time to shine. This is now your time to shine.
Boss chicks, boss chicks.